All right, folks, all sorts of action being taken against Russia. Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Estee Lauder are all pulling out of that country. Also, American oil companies are cutting ties with Russia as well. President Joe Biden, he's issued an executive order banning all Russian oil imports, toughening the toll on Russia's economy in retaliation for the invasion of Ukraine. That, of course, will be impacting us.
We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine. This is a move that has strong bipartisan support in the Congress and, I believe, in the country. Americans have rallied to support their Ukrainian people and made it clear we will not be part of subsidizing Putin's war.
Biden also acknowledges it's going to bring cost to Americans, particularly at the gas pump. According to the AAA, the national average gas price stands at $4.06 per gallon. The action follows pleas by Ukrainian President Zelenskyy to U.S. and Western officials to cut the oil imports. Joining us right now is Trevor Higgins. He is Vice President for Climate Policy for the Center for American Progress based in D.C. Trevor, glad to have you here. Here's the thing here, okay? And it is stunning to me. I listened to the constant moaning of Senator Ted Cruz and all these Republicans and others who are like, oh my God, gas prices, gas prices. Let's be real clear. When we talk about gas prices, they were even higher under President George W. Bush, and Russia didn't invade Ukraine.
Right. In 2008, they were at their peak levels. And when you adjust for inflation, we're still below that. So gas prices are likely to go up still, but the prices now are still in line with what we saw in 2008, before that from 2005, in 2010 to 2014. The thing is that gas prices are about 3% of American household spending on average. So that's significant for them to rise. People notice. You see the price every day when you're driving, when you're filling up, when you're driving past the gas station. It's going to be important to try and cut those prices back down. But make no mistake, the reason why we're seeing high prices right now are because of Putin's decisions and the oil companies' decisions.
But here's on that particular point here, because this is the other thing that, again, it drives me crazy when I listen to all these crazy maniacs on the right who want to play games here. They're trying to say, oh my God, see, if we were not being dependent on oil from other countries, and then if we had an increase in American oil independence, it wouldn't be happening. Well, actually, if we weren't so dependent on damn oil, and we actually chose to embrace other technologies, natural gas, solar, improving our damn electrical grid in this country, which requires spending billions of dollars to do so, then we would not have to be so locked and loaded on fossil fuels.
Exactly. We are right now producing about twice as much oil as we did 15 years ago. And still, our prices are vulnerable to foreign petrostate dictators like Putin. So how much more oil would it take to get us perfectly independent? The answer is none. We're not going to find energy independence at the bottom of a well. What we need is, just as you said, to move to a clean energy future. Do you know how much the price of solar has gone up since Putin invaded? It hasn't. The price of wind hasn't gone up. As soon as we can switch people to electric vehicles, they won't have to pay for gasoline at all. It'll take time, but we have ways to help that. You know, the House passed a bill that would give every person in America who chooses to buy an electric vehicle up to $12,500 off. That's going to make this much more affordable for many, many more people.
But also, again, when we're breaking this thing down, we're talking about in terms of where we stand. Here's the other thing that we have to understand. And again, clueless Americans, listen to me very clear. This is what happens when you live in the world. America has got to stop this idiotic notion that we somehow are separate from the rest of the world. Economies are now linked. When something happens in Russia, in China, in Thailand, in Vietnam, in France, in other countries, it has an impact, because if we have businesses from there, if we're importing goods from there, if there's a strike that happens somewhere, it impacts us. And so this idea that, oh, we can somehow isolate ourselves from the rest of the world and nothing impacts our wonderful lives here in the U.S., that's a fallacy.
That's right. The oil is traded on a global market. Its price is set by decisions made by Saudi Arabia and Russia and others. And the United States producers are a major force in that market, but the prices are set globally.
But we gotta add this here too, because this is really, really, really important. I'm a native of Texas. Do you know who is smiling right now? Texans. Why? Because Houston is a petrochemical capital of the world. Who's smiling right now? Who smiles when you have high gas prices? Louisiana. Because of their petrochemical. So there are states in the United States that love high gas prices because that means that those oil companies are doing better and those employees are doing better because those oil companies hate when gas prices are low because the cost per barrel is low, which means their profits are lower.
Exactly. Who benefits? There are 5 companies that last year made record profits, $75 billion for these 5 oil companies. It was the highest growth in profits that they've seen in more than 7 years. That's extraordinary. In fact, they have more permits, more leases, more land than they know what to do with. They're not even producing as much as they could. We're still at 10% less production in the United States.
And in fact, on that particular point there, am I correct that also Biden has issued more permits to drill on public land than Trump did?
Much to the chagrin of environmentalists. It sort of is driving the environmentalists crazy. And here he is still giving the permits that the oil and gas industry are asking for, as you said, more than Trump did. And the only solution they have is to go to Congress and ask for even more. They want to fire sale of public lands. They want to rush different approvals. They want to build out oil and gas production that won't even come online for another 10 years, as if that were somehow a solution to the issue we're facing today. It's not. 10 years from now, we need to be on electric vehicles with electric heating for our homes, with clean electricity and renewables powering our grid. It's time to build today the future that we want to see.
Indeed. Indeed. Trevor Higgins, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for joining.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches. I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?